Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Monday, which means it's time for a 5x5. Now, this is where I take 5 subjects related to magic. I spend 5 minutes talking about each subject. At the end of the 5 minutes, I move on to the next subject. It's always quick. It's always snappy. You never know what you're going to get. Now, today, I'm back with another really popular sort of video series on the 5x5s, which is where I take 5 tricks performed by a particular creator or a particular magician, and I analyze those tricks. I talk about what I liked about them and why I think that that's a really good choice of material, and I think that's really important. There's some incredible magicians out there in the world of magic, and if I can get an opportunity to watch them perform some of their best tricks and then talk about it, then I think that makes really good content for YouTube. Right now, I've done this with Nemid Phoenix, and I looked at 5 of Nemid's favorite tricks. That was really popular. I then did it with Wayne Goodman. That was really popular. Well, I had the pleasure, I had the honor of going to the Magic Circle on Monday, and last Monday, and I went to the Magic Circle, and Lord Harri Harrington was lecturing. Now, if you don't know who Lord Harri Harrington is, Lord Harri Harrington is an incredible creator of magic. He's based in Wales, and he's brought out a lot of magic throughout the years. He's very closely affiliated with Saturn Magic, and he's brought out some awesome tricks. Now, he's known for a lot of pranks. So he's done like tricks with Rubik's Cubes, and you pick them up and they bang, and tricks with Sharpies and you open them and they bang. Really kind of really fun stuff like that. But as well as that, he also does some really cool, strong magic tricks. So I caught up with Harri. I'll be doing a Talk Magic interview with Harri soon. By the way, if you get a chance to go and see him lecture, please do so. It's a really great lecture. And I caught up with Harri, and I said to him, hey, could you film 5 tricks for me? Can you perform 5 tricks? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about them and talk about why they're a really good choice. Now, whenever I do this with anybody, they don't have to be their own tricks. They can be somebody else's tricks. And yeah, he was very nice. We filmed 5 different routines, and some of them are his own, some of them aren't. And I'm going to run those 5 tricks, talk to you about what I think about them, and what we can learn from watching Lord Harri perform those 5 routines. So without further ado, let's get into this week's 5x5 and have a look at trick number 1. So the first trick we're going to be looking at is Harri's version of the Little Hand Gimmick. Now, if you don't know what the Little Hand Gimmick is, it's the whole idea of you have a coin, and you know, you put the coin here, and a little hand comes and steals the coin, and then there's nothing in your hand. And you know, I think it was Michael Amar that I first saw do this, but a lot of people do it, and there's been variations throughout the years. There's been zombie hands and a whole bunch of different stuff, and I think one of the best versions I've ever seen was put out by Penguin, and it was Roddy McGee, and it was using this putty, and he used it to make a coin vanish, signed coin vanish, and appear inside putty, and it was like hand made out of putty appeared. Really, really good stuff. So there's lots of different variations on this. I honestly think that the best version of this has now been done, because I thought Harri's presentation of this trick is great. Now, there's a lot you can learn from watching Harri perform this, but before we actually even talk about that, I want you to see a live performance. It uses his phone, and it uses the Little Hand Gimmick, and it's genius. Let's have a look at Harri performing this right now.
Yeah, stop it, go ahead, Matt. I'm very well, thank you. I would like to do a card trick for you. It's one of my favourite card tricks. Go for it. Right. I'm going to riffle down. All I want you to do is just shout stop whenever you like. Okay? Yeah. Are you ready? Go for it. Stop. Perfect. When you take that card, don't let me see it, but show everybody else. Just do not show me. Matt, I would like to go ahead and place the card in any way you like, Jimmy. Any way you want. Any way you want, yeah. Do you want to shuffle them?
Yeah.
Go for it. Give them a shuffle. And then please go ahead and place them in the box. Whilst you're doing that, I'm going to reach in and get my phone out. Now there's an image on my phone. Don't be alarmed, it's alright, it's all good. Can I borrow your hand? Perfect, here you go. Could you please tell us all what it is you're currently looking at?
A picture of you and what I'm hoping is your child.
You're hoping? Yeah, good, of course. It is my Babas. Now, she doesn't look like that anymore. She's actually a little bit older now, but this is when she was born, like she was a year old or whatever.
Okay.
Could you please zoom in onto her hands for me? Excellent. What can you see?
She's holding a deck of cards.
Excellent. Yes, she is. Matt, I'm telling you right now, no one ever gets this question right.
Okay.
What's the difference between the pack we've got on the table and the pack that my daughter's holding? What's the difference? Go on. I told you, no one ever gets this right. No one ever gets it right. Don't overthink it, Matt. Come on.
What's the difference?
What's the difference? There's one big difference.
It looks like there's a bit torn off the...
You're not the first one who said that. It's the size, Matt. Big hands, big cards, small hands, small cards, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, of course. Now it makes up sense. Can you put your hand, your left hand nice and flat? Keep the phone on there. Now, if my daughter could tell me exactly what card it is you chose, would that be an impressive trick?
Well, yeah.
So she says she's going to have a little look for it. She's actually going to show you, she said. She's going to show you. Are you ready? Oh, she's found it! Was that your card? Right, thank you. It's a two of diamonds. Was that your card? Yes, perfect. That's amazing. Glad you enjoyed that. So good. Oh my god.
I absolutely love that. Now, I've been in Magic long enough to know what works in a real world environment and what doesn't work. I know that this will absolutely kill. The Little Hand Gimmick is a great gimmick anyway, but most people use it to vanish something. Now, Harri's using it here to make a card appear. But what's really nice is he's made the trick his own. I talk on this channel all the time about making the trick your own, and that's what he's done. He's made the trick his own by bringing out a picture of his child, showing the picture of his child. That's immediately going to have an emotional connection with the audience. You know, every time you bring out a picture of your kid and you bring that into the context of a trick, people immediately pay attention. So it's a great hook line. But then it's not just bringing out a picture of your kid for the sake of it. I mean, what we have here is an incredible routine, like a truly incredible routine where, you know, the kid reaches through the photo and finds the card. I mean, it's just really good. I love the bit at the beginning where he zooms in and he says, hey, can you see something? What's the difference between this deck and the deck in? Everything about this is great. And, you know, I mean, obviously, most magicians that are watching this, that have any experience with performing Little Hand, will know exactly how this works. But I think the one thing that we can learn from this performance is that it's important to take a trick and make it your own. And don't just do it the same way that everybody else does. And that's what I took from this. I thought this was brilliant. I love routines where I get to talk about my children. Child's Play by Chris Congreve is one of my favourite tricks for the simple reason that it allows me to talk about Ryland and Thea, and it allows me to talk about different things that they do or don't do. So, yeah, I mean, this is just brilliant. This is pure genius thinking, in my opinion, and I think that a lot of people are going to be doing something similar to this. It's great, and it just shows how creative Lord Harri Harrington is. So there you go. That's the first trick. It's Harri's performance of the Little Hand Gimmick. Now we're going to go on and we're going to look at something else. So let's look at the second trick. Okay, so the second trick, and again, this is shot at the Magic Circle. All of these are, but the second trick is one of Harri's own tricks, and he calls this Mini-Me. And when I watched his lecture, he actually lectured on this trick, and I'm really glad that he did lecture on it, because watching him perform this, I thought this was really clever. And it's basically a card revelation, but it's got a kicker that people don't see coming. I'm not going to say any more. I'm going to let you see the performance first of all. I am going to talk about it and give you my thoughts on it, but let's have a look at Harri performing this first of all. So this is Mini-Me by Lord Harri Harrington.
Right, cool. Okay, pick up pack cards here.
Yep.
Just going to riffle down and just shout stop whenever you like, please, okay?
Yeah. Stop.
Perfect. Take that card and let me see it. Please go ahead, show the camera, just don't show me. Excellent. Kev, could you please go ahead and place your card in any way you like? Brilliant. Kev, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, 3 to be precise. Now, you can either say yes, you can say no, you can lie to me, tell the truth, totally up to you. Think of your card for me, please, Kev. Okay, Kevin, would I be right in saying that your card actually was a small card? Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah.
It was?
Yeah.
Excellent. Now, for the next one, I don't really want to look at you when I ask this question. I'm going to look away. If I were to say, is your card red? Is your card black? I could judge by your reactions if it's one or the other. So I'm just going to make a statement which you can answer, okay? Your card was a spade, yes?
No.
Kev, would it be impressive if I was able to flick the deck and one card would shoot out and it just happened to be yours?
Absolutely.
It would be impressive.
Fantastic.
Okay, let's see if we can do this. You see one card just shot out?
Yeah.
I know. But Kev, you said yours wasn't a small card. No, you said it was a small card, but it wasn't a black card.
No.
Good. At least I got one of those right then.
Yeah.
But it's not a black card. There's no way it could be the 8 of spades then, right?
It was. I liked it.
Thank you, Kev.
So I personally think that more magicians should be doing tricks with mini cards. I think that miniature decks of cards is something that a lot of magicians kind of haven't really explored that much. They shy away from it, and I think it's a real shame. One of my favourite gaff decks of all time is Diminishing Returns. Diminishing Returns is such a strong trick by, you know, oh my gosh, why have I forgotten his name? He's a legend. Mike Powers. So the Diminishing Returns by Mike Powers is such a great trick. And any time you bring a mini deck of cards into a performance, it's always really strong. One of my favourite things to do is to have a shrinking card case. So you have a deck of cards, you take the cards out, the card case shrinks, then the deck of cards shrinks, and then you can do Squeeze by Tommy Wonder and put the cards back in. What Harri has done here is made a really strong trick, even stronger through the use of a mini card. And I've seen versions of a trick like this before, where you flick the front of the deck and a mini card comes out, but it's not orientated the way that Harri orientates it. So it looks immediately like a mini card comes out. So the whole concept of it is, hey, I'm going to make your card appear, and look, it's shrunk. What Harri's done here is he's structured the whole routine so that, you know, he's revealed the card, he's got the revelation, he's got it correct, he gets the round of applause, they think the trick's over, and then just when they think the trick's over and the card's sticking out the deck and they think that's the end of the trick, boom, it shrinks. And for me, it's the equivalent of doing a jumbo coin production at the end of a coin routine. You know, you've done the coin routine, you've got to the end of it, everyone likes the coin routine, and then bang, this jumbo coin comes out of nowhere and nobody sees it coming. Well, it's exactly the same with this. Nobody sees this nobody sees this shrinking card appear. It just comes completely out the blue. And sometimes I think that's really important. Having those kicker endings is, I think, what makes magic really strong. It's almost like a Sixth Sense, isn't it? The film The Sixth Sense. You know apparently which way the film's going, and then all of a sudden they pull the rug out from under you and it goes in completely a different direction. And that's what we have here. This is really, really good. And it's super practical as well. One of the things that I think I got from Lord Harri and his lecture, and watching him perform the material he does, is that the most important thing for him is, A, the material has to be practical, but B, it has to be visual, it has to be hard-hitting as well. You're not going to see Harri do any procedural spelling tricks or, you know, 21-card trick variants or things like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but what we have here is we have every trick has a really strong end, and there's normally a kicker ending on top of it as well. And it's magic that's designed to hit and hit hard. And you see that in every routine that you're watching on this video. With that being said, we're now going to move on to the third trick, which is not Harri's, it's by Kieran Johnson. So let's have a look at that right now. Okay, so the next trick that we're going to be looking at is the Flash Lollipop production. So the Flash Lollipop production by Kieran Johnson. Now, the Flash Lollipop production is just cool. Don't know how else to say it. It's just a really cool trick that I've seen magicians do for years. Like, I remember watching Kieran do this on the RSVP project that it would originally came on. And literally just the reactions he got were insane. And then at one point, every single professional close-up magician in the country was doing this. I'm pretty sure that, you know, Kieran and Steve Rowe, to a degree as well, were responsible for more lollipop sales in this country than every kid put together. Because, like, let's be honest, if you could really do magic, making a lolly appear and then, you know, giving it out to the person you're performing for, if you could really do magic, you'd do that. And we've talked about openers on this channel. And we've talked about when you do an opening routine, it has to be impactful. It has to create an impact, doesn't it? It has to really, you know, grab people's attention. It has to be quick. It has to be visual. Well, what's more visual than taking a piece of paper, lighting it and producing a lollipop, right? And it just shows how much of a worker Harri is, because obviously he understands that as well, as he wouldn't be including this in one of his top 5 routines that he performs to real people. But there you have it. It is a great trick. It is an awesome trick. Now, I'm telling you right now, if you've never tried to do the Lollipop production by Kieran Johnson, please do so. You can expand on it. Steve Rowe bought out a gift deck a few years ago, which you can get from the Gimmick King. And, you know, it looks like a deck of cards that have got different gifts on them, and you can force a lollipop, and then you can produce the lollipop. I mean, there's lots of different ways of doing it, but what Harri's doing here is he's literally just doing is a very quick opening routine to establish credibility. Look, I've got a piece of paper, boom, now I've got a lollipop. It's strong, it's direct, it's visible, it hits them, and it hits them hard. Just a perfect choice, really. Let's have a look at that, and then we're going to move on to trick number 4.
Tommy? Yeah. Do you know what these 2 items are?
I know, yeah, pretty good, yeah.
You do? Could you please go ahead and remove one of the cigarette papers for me?
Sure.
Let's take one out. Excellent. I want you to scrunch that up. I'll take the packet back. Okay, scrunch that up for me, please. Just a little ball or something, but not too small. Not too small.
Without putting anything in.
Without putting anything in it, no.
Okay.
That becomes a different trick. I'm going to hand you the lighter. I'll take the paper.
Okay.
Go ahead, open it up. Give it a light for me, please. Oh, whoa. Yeah, hold that in front of you.
Okay.
Excellent. Tommy, this is just for you, mate. And there we have a lollipop for you, Tommy.
That's brilliant.
Okay, so the 4th trick was shot live at the Magic Circle. It was shot on the Magic Circle stage, and it was during his lecture. And this is a performance of a routine that he did in his lecture. And this is a performance piece. This is not the sort of thing that you would do every single time you perform. You wouldn't do this every single table. This is something that you would keep as a special piece for a special guest or a VIP or the bride and groom. Harri says that this is his bride and groom trick, and I can understand why. Before I go any further, let's have a look at a performance of this so you can see exactly what happens. So here's a performance of the routine by Harri.
I've got something for you guys. How long have you been friends for?
About 20 minutes.
20 minutes, you'd say, yeah?
No, we've been friends. Years.
Been friends a long time.
Absolutely.
Years and years. Perfect. Okay, I think this would work perfect for you guys. Now, right now, I would like you just to imagine this with me, play role a little bit. We're at a wedding, okay? You're the happy couple. And what I'd like to do is quite simply, this is my trick for you. This is my top table trick for you. Now, Marcus,
Yes.
in a pack of 52 cards, there are certain ones that describe people a lot better, or you think maybe like the Joker would fit your uncle or something, you know what I mean? Today especially, what card would best represent you?
4 of spades.
The King of Hearts, Marcus. Yes, of course it could be. Of course. King of Hearts. Faye, if Marcus has got the King, what card would
Well, I
best...
would go for the Queen, but does it have to be hearts or can I have diamonds?
I mean, it would be better with hearts. Just for this presentation.
Queen of Hearts.
Queen of Hearts, excellent. Marcus, King
Yes.
of Hearts. Faye, Queen of Hearts, thank you. And Marcus, what I'd like you to do is take the pen from me. I'd like you to give the card on the back a sign. Let's do that blank card in there, sorry. You give that signature just across there. Maybe a big one if you want. All the way across. Nice and big. Bit there. Fill the card out. Fill the card out nice. Excellent. Oh yes, a smiley.
I've only got 3 letters to play with.
That's 3 letters. That's 3 letters in there. Faye, could you please take the pen off Marcus? And could you just go ahead and sign across? Oh, Queen, of course. Go ahead and sign across the Queen there. Nice and big. A little bit here. Excellent, thank you very much. So now we've got the King and the Queen both side. I've put the King on underneath the Queen. So what we should technically have is both your cards signed, correct? Now, in your time together, would you agree that you haven't always seen eye to eye?
Yes, she's a lot taller.
Oh. Okay, fair enough. Faye, there's been some troubled times. Possible?
Yeah, well, yes, because
Yes.
he's so much shorter than I am. Clean over his head.
So we can all agree that, of course, it hasn't always been plain sailing. But no matter what happens, you always find yourself back together, correct? Marcus, left or right?
Left.
Perfect, we'll get rid of the left, keep the right. But you have always found yourself together, correct?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Here we are, happily married now.
Happily married. Come on, listen. So if we bring your two halves together, we could make this one signed half card. Would that be, is that your drawing there, Faith?
This is mine, yes.
That bits of yours, Marcus?
Yes.
Amazing. But I actually don't want to just keep that there. I want to cement something a little bit more. So if I draw a circle around here, maybe a little circle around there. Faye, what does that look like to you right now? I know, it's a bit hard.
Well,
Circle with a dot.
I was circle with a dot. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I was trying to make something of it. It's a circle with a dot, definitely.
Don't worry, don't worry.
Definitely a circle with a dot.
Here we go. If I drew a little square at the top here, and maybe a little bit in there, Marcus, what would that roughly indicate now?
It looks a bit like a camera.
It's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. I would like to take a picture of you guys together with your signatures.
Okay.
Yeah? What's best? Could you maybe just squidge up a bit there with your faces towards me, just a little bit, so I can take a step back and use this camera to really take your picture. Would that be alright?
Should I come round to you?
Yeah, just stand up, that's fine. Okay, just let the camera just... You don't have to go on your knees. Oh my goodness, what's going on? Okay.
Well, we're kneeling down a bit.
Yes.
Oh my... Thanks so much. I'm going to take a picture of you both right now. Okay, here we go. Are you ready?
Oh.
I know. You can take a seat again. Perfect. Now we've got to wait for the picture to develop, of course. And whilst that is developing, I do have something to keep this as a memorable bit. And also, Marcus, that's for you. Keep holding. I do have a little easel here. Take frame part. Just going to place this picture in there, okay? Turn it around, that would help, wouldn't it, Marcus?
I find it.
Cool, and we're just going to let that develop for just a second. Faye's itching to see what's on the other side, I know. Just let it develop for us now, yeah. I think it's actually worked out really well, guys.
Oh wow! Oh yeah.
So am I actually. Thank you very much, Faye Marcus. You're welcome, you're welcome. Perfect. Actually, Marcus, because when I explain this now in a moment, I always give myself a backup, so of course, I wouldn't want to leave you out, Marcus, so here we go, a little one for you. Okay. So go ahead and do that. Thank you very much.
So that's like basically a masterclass, right? That's a masterclass when it comes to a routine. And there's so much to love about this. But I said earlier on about Harri having a desire to keep things really visual and really different. And this is a perfect example of that. I mean, what we have here is an ambitious... an anniversary waltz on steroids. I love the idea. I absolutely love the idea of doing a Siamese waltz style routine, doing a face-off style routine, but with the King and the Queen of Hearts that's just great. Because, you know, combining those two cards into one, ripping them up, and then fusing them back together, and then giving them out as a souvenir. First of all, that's a really strong moment, because you can spin whatever story that you want to spin. I've performed, I haven't performed Face Off. My friend Nemid Phoenix performs it a lot. I haven't performed Face Off, but I have performed Siamese Waltz. And it always gets a great reaction. When you take two cards and tear them in half and put them back together and give it out as a souvenir, it always gets a good reaction. But if you do it with a King and a Queen of Hearts, logically, you can then have so much that you can actually, you know, weave into a presentation for that, especially if you're performing for a couple or a bride and groom or something like that. It's just absolutely genius. So you've got that moment right there. But then, as well as that, you've got the really great idea. And I don't know how well this showed up on camera. And I'm gonna narrate it or talk you through it so you know exactly what's happened here. Harri has gone to the trouble of photoshopping the cards so that when he gives the souvenir card out, the king looks just like the guy he's performing for, and the queen looks just like the woman he's performing for. Now, what an amazing gift for that to magically appear on the card. So not enough to have two cards torn in two and putting them back together. Now, when they go back together, you've got this beautiful moment of the, you know, the faces of the king and the queen matching the people that you're performing for. And it looks so good. I was looking at those cards later on and they look great. Now, if there's one thing I've learned from that, it's the importance of making sure that you do something special for the person who's booked you. Now, I don't do something like this. I mean, I'd consider it absolutely, especially seeing the reactions that Harri got. I tend to do something like Cube in Bottle, which achieves the same sort of thing for me. But I think if you are a commercial close-up worker and you perform commercial close-up magic, I think it's really important to have that trick that you can do for the VIP, for the bride and groom, for the person whose special event it is. Because they've booked you at the end of the day, you want to do something that's special for them. You want to give them a souvenir that they're going to show everyone. And when I say a souvenir, I don't just mean a signed card that's found its way into a box that they're going to throw away. I don't just mean a business card. Something really special, a cube going into a bottle. Something like what you've just seen in this trick is the perfect example of an impossible object that they're going to keep forever. And really, you should look at yourself and you should look at your routines and you should ask yourself a question. If you're going out and performing professionally, do you have that thing that you can give to the bride and groom or the client to really set your performance apart from anyone else? Because what I took from this performance is you do need something like that. And I can imagine Harri performing this at an event and just bringing the house down. This is the sort of trick that I imagine going up to a gig and they've seen Harri and they go, oh yeah, I saw a magician last week. Yeah, he put two cards together and then he made their faces appear on the cards. I'd be like, yeah, I can't do that. You know, it's such a great trick. Having said that, it's not the best trick. The best trick that I saw when I watched Harri at the Magic Circle is what's coming up next. This is the fifth, and I left the best till last. So the final trick that I want to talk about is Harri's. This is available from Saturn Magic. This is a Saturn Magic product. You can get it directly from them, and I'm going to be reviewing it soon as well. This is Harri's version of the ring in candy packet, and he uses Haribo. Now, you can get this, as I say, from Saturn. I believe it's gone through Murphy's, in which case it's available from all good magic dealers. But this is great. I mean, I love this. I looked at a version of this by Peter Egging recently, and the Peter Egging method is nowhere near as good as what we have here. Having watched the lecture and watched the performance of this, man, I would do this over and over again. This is the sort of magic I like. It's strong, it's hard-hitting, it will blow your audience away. If you haven't seen it, I guarantee you, after you watch this performance, you're going to run out and you're going to buy this from Saturn. I know that I have, and I can't wait to review it and tell everyone about it. But let's have a look at the performance. This is Harri's signature trick. This is the ring in Haribo.
Yo! Do you have a ring I could borrow by any chance?
Yes, take your pick.
I'm going to use this one.
That one?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Who gave you this? Is this your boyfriend?
I'd rather not disclose.
Matt, who in this room right now is trustworthy to hold on to this? Who would you say?
It's a room full of magicians. I'd say no one.
We have to pick somebody.
Gary's son.
Sam, can you come and join me here, Sam? Excellent. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the ring in your hand. Hold your hand. As soon as you feel it, close your hand immediately, right? Got it? Matt, could you please hold on to his wrist for me, please? Excellent. Now, I've got this. It's a magic wand.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Take it. I'm going to wave it across Sam's hand and give it a tap. That should make your ring completely vanish. Sam, did it vanish? Can you still feel it?
Yeah.
You can still feel it?
Yeah, I can.
Matt, put a bit of effort into it. This is your moment, Matt. Okay, Sam, did it vanish? Is it still in there? Matt, last time you got one chance to redeem yourself.
Man. I am trying.
Give it a little wave and a tap. Excellent. Sam, this is totally, completely vanished from your hand, correct?
No.
You sure? Positive?
Yes.
Okay, you can let go, Matt. I do think you did do something,
Okay.
just not what I wanted to happen, unfortunately.
Right.
I wanted to make it vanish, but you can still feel it. Take your hand and just slowly, Sam, turn your wrist over there. And finger by finger, open it up. Oh. Okay. That's a Haribo ring.
Yeah.
Interesting. But of course, that's not yours.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Matt's. It was Matt's.
It was Matt's, yeah.
It was. The undisclosed person's going to be extremely pissed off.
Don't worry, Matt. Don't worry, Matt. I know what you're thinking. Like, where's my ring gone? Would you
Had
be?
crossed my mind.
Would you be happy if I handed this to you and you could keep it and it'd be the best sweet you've ever had?
Unless there's a really expensive ring inside it, then no.
No, I tell you what. What if I actually gave you a whole pack of sweets? Would that be a bit more nicer? Would that be better?
If
Like,
you don't
maybe
have
a
them all
leaf,
up, then
yeah?
maybe a lorry load.
A lorry load. But don't worry, where that one came from, I've got a lot more. So I think Matt actually can borrow that one. I think you might see inside. If I just turn it around, you might see that in there. Can you see that?
No.
Is that yours?
Dude, what the fuck?
You take the one. Sam, put your hands together, please. Can you tear that all the way down? All the way down. All the way, all the way, all the way. Put your hands together. And that, I think, Matt, would that be your ring?
That's the... What the... Yay! Fuck!
How good was that? I mean, seriously, how good was that? That is an incredible trick. That just, I mean, it's incredible. Anytime you do magic with borrowed rings or borrowed objects in general, it always brings people closer, right? And I know a lot of people don't like doing ring flights because they're worried about damaging somebody's ring or the ring flying off. And I can understand that. I've had problems in the past with things like interlace that's made me not want to do interlace again. So I totally get that. But this is just completely bulletproof. And having seen the method for the egg ink trick, this is like 1,000,000 times better. Like 1,000,000,000,000,000 times more practical and better in every single way, shape or form. This is something that I would happily do in a parlor show. This is something I would happily do in a stage show. This is something I would happily do close up. Put it this way, I went on Amazon the other day after watching Harry's lecture and I've ordered like 100 Haribo packets so that I can perform this trick because darn, this trick is so good. And I love that it's a transposition between a ring and a Haribo ring, right? So and what's really nice is when they're holding the ring in their hand, and I've tried this, when they're holding the ring in their hand, they don't feel that it's not their ring anymore. They still feel like it's their ring. And so the moment it's not a ring to impossible location, it's not a vanish, where has it gone, it's gone over here, it becomes a transposition. It becomes in their hand. I mean, imagine that. Imagine you've got a vanish taking place in their hand. But like I say, it becomes a transposition. And you've got so many beats. I've talked on the channel before about the importance of having beats like boom, boom, boom. Because one of the things that's important to do when you're doing magic commercially is getting a good reaction from your audiences. Well, how do you get a good reaction from your audiences? You do that by structuring your routine so there's an applause point, followed by an applause point, followed by an applause point, right? And that's what you have here. You know, just when they think the hard work's done before anything happens from their point of view. And it's like, boom, the ring's vanished. Oh my God, it's turned into candy. Beat. Then it's like, oh my God, you're not going to believe this. Look, there's the bag of candy, and right in there is the ring. Beat. Let me tear it open. Look, we're going to tip it out into your hand. Beat. Is that your ring? Beat. It's just, I mean, honestly, I don't think you could follow this. I'm planning on doing this. Ryland is planning on doing this. This is really good. We were playing around with different ideas with the ring hole or whatever it is. Is it ring hole? Yeah. With Peter's thing. We've chucked that. Don't care. This is so much better. And we're coming up with a whole bunch of ideas, and I'm going to perform this. I know I am. And when I do, I'm worried about following it. I don't think I can follow this. How do you follow a trick like this? It's incredible. And it's not even that difficult. And I think it's, you know, I always talk about what you can learn from magicians by watching them perform. And what I get from this is you don't have to be doing knuckle-busting sleight of hand to create an impact on your audience. This is a relatively easy trick to do, but damn, it hits hard. Really, really hard. And I encourage you, if you haven't already got this, go hit up Saturn Magic. They ship worldwide. And go and buy this, because this is really good. So there you go, guys. That's another 5x5. I've been getting some great feedback on the 5x5s recently, especially the ones where I do live performances and the ones where I examine the tricks of another performer. So I'm going to be doing a lot more of those, but do me a favor, let me know what you think in the comments down below. And if you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Now, I'm going to be back again tomorrow with a whole bunch more videos, so watch out for that, because tomorrow, I'm telling you right now, tomorrow, we are launching at 9 o'clock the first episode of the Matchumentary. Matt, Muggle to Magician. The first episode hits hits tomorrow, and then you're going to have episodes going up every single week for 13 weeks. This is going to be super exciting. I'm turning Matt into a magician. It drops tomorrow. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I will see you again. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.